Homeschooling, public school, charter schools, private schools, there are so many different ways to educate your kids. And in this video, I'm breaking down why I am personally leaning towards homeschooling. If you're interested in why I chose to leave my corporate jobs and stay at home full-time as a mom, then be sure to check out this link. In case we haven't met yet, I'm Kalina. I am a full-time toddler mom and mom to an incoming baby girl on the way at nearly 33 weeks pregnant. And in this channel, we're keeping things really encouraging, keeping things informative, talking about conscious parenting, mindset, parenting in general, non-toxic organic living. So if any of that resonates, go ahead and like and subscribe for new videos like this every week. Why am I leaning toward homeschooling? I think it's pretty objectively fair to say that public education as a whole, generally high level speaking, is not working for our kids. Their test scores do not reflect that it is. It's just becoming kind of a scarier place with all of these shootings and all of these things happening behind closed doors that are being kept secret from parents and kind of divisive for the families. But I'm trying to keep things positive and encouraging in my channel, so I'm just going to leave all that negative stuff that may be true, but is just not worth getting into over here, and just talk about the reasons why I'm personally choosing to homeschool for other reasons. Reason number one is I just want to protect the innocence of my child for as long as possible. I know when I was growing up in middle school, especially in the early 2000s, I was exposed to a lot of things that I just don't wish the same for my kids. Things were a bit overly sexualized. Everyone had a cell phone. The internet was just becoming a thing. And I just feel like I saw a lot of things that no 11 or 12-year-old should see. And I feel that my personal responsibility in part as a parent is just to shield and protect the innocence of my children for absolutely as long as possible. And if they're in a public school all day and I'm not spending all this time with them, I really don't see how I can possibly make a dent in that exposure. Reason number two is just wanting to spend more time with my kids. My husband and I have chosen a lifestyle where he's working and I'm staying at home full time, which means that we have the flexibility to not have to subscribe to those set hours in school just because they work for the set hours with a 9-to-5 job. And that means I just get to spend more time with my son. It means that we can do our core work and then we can spend the rest of the day how we want to do that, whether it's going on field trips or whether it's just playing outside all day or having play dates with other like-minded families. Just having that flexibility and that time back is just such a big reason why I'm leaning toward homeschooling. Reason number three is the custom and personalized education. I'm a big fan of child-led sort of methodologies, and from my research, it seems like kids tend to learn faster and more deeply when they're really engaged and interested in the subject that they're learning. And within a homeschooling setting, I'm able to really lean into that and just kind of focus on what they're interested in, whether it's plumbing, like my son is really interested in now, and we can make fun projects for that, or engineering, which is something else he really likes, just building little things and anything that has motors in it. So just getting to spend our time sort of focusing in on what he likes so that he's really learning and learning how to learn. My husband and I are becoming a little bit more entrepreneurial. So we really want to live those values of resourcefulness and self-sufficiency and problem solving and not relying on someone else for income, and just instill those values and demonstrate those values for our kids in hopes that they will maybe want to enter one of the family businesses or start a business on their own. And I feel like it would be really hard to do that if they were away from us living that life every single day and spending all that time in school instead. Reason number four that I'm leaning toward homeschooling is just the ability to be out in the real world. So I'm just going to debunk the myth right now that homeschoolers are not socialized. Yes, I'm sure if a parent is a total hermit and never leaves their house and homeschools their kid, their kid's probably going to be a total hermit too. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying if you're an extrovert like me and you're very active and you're interested in things and you're out in the world doing fun things, I don't think that that's really an issue. So constantly just having play dates and the ability for us to turn lessons into an activity or a craft or a field trip or go, to a museum and look at something up close that we're learning. You just can't get that and replicate that in a public school system. Also, just being able to be outside is huge. I mean, I can barely keep my son inside right now. He just turned 3 years old. And if I can teach him things outside, whether it's counting sticks at the park and making little patterns, or building things, or taking books that we're reading inside or things that we're doing inside and just moving them outside where he just feels more comfortable and more at ease, I think that's such a win, because if he was in a public school, then he would just be under fluorescent lights, stuck in a seat in a classroom all day. And I just don't think already at this young age that he learns very well that way. Reason number 5 is just a flexible lifestyle. I don't work a 9-to-5 job. I'm a full-time mom. I'm not rushing out the door at a specific time to be somewhere 99% of the time. And if I'm homeschooling, then my son doesn't need to do that either. We could take our time practicing all of the skills in the morning, brushing our teeth, getting dressed, tying our shoes, without feeling this pressure that we just have to get up and go and get somewhere and just get him in the car. At any time during a lesson, he can choose, you know what, I just actually want to play and do this other thing instead. Or maybe I'm hungry, or maybe I need to take a nap. Maybe I want to go play outside, or maybe I want to go to grandma and grandpa's house or visit a friend. So having him at home doing homeschool would just allow us that flexibility to get up and go and just change the pace if it feels like something's not working. It also allows us a lot more time for extracurriculars. So right now I have him in a Mommy and Me farm class that we do once a week, which is so fun. We go to this little farm, we feed pigs and goats and chickens, and then they just do free play. They do some crafts and things like that. And I've been looking into different classes, gymnastics, jujitsu, and just trying to see what options are out there to get him exposure to lots of kids and lots of different types of environments, just to see what his interests are. And if he was in a seat from 9 to 3, whatever the hours are, 8 to 3 every day, he just wouldn't have as much time to explore what his other interests might be. The last reason why I'm choosing to homeschool is a little bit anecdotal, but I have met a good handful of homeschoolers in my life between being a child and also up through adulthood. And I just feel like the people that I've met who have been homeschooled are just different in a really good way. They seem to be a lot closer to their families. They have better, more wholesome values. They seem more well-rounded. They're able to interact with different types of people of all different ages and have something important or interesting to contribute to the conversation. They tend to have a wider variety of interests, and in general, they're more chill and just more self-confident and self-assured. So if I can replicate any of those characteristics in my kids just through homeschooling, I am all for it. Sign me up. Those are my top 6 reasons for why I'm leaning towards homeschooling my kid. If you're leaning toward the same, I'd love to hear your comments below. And if you feel differently, then I'd also like to hear your comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.